Ooh, very nice. Welcome back. Heck yeah. Welcome back, folks, to episode...
Should be 60.
60. Holy shit.
Yeah.
No way. Episode 60.
Believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, wow.
Unless we're wrong. I mean, like goobers.
No, we're right. We're right. Because Charlie and Brian was 59.
Wow.
Episode 60 of the Hispanic on Paper podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
My name is Marcos.
My name is Kashi.
Just quick disclaimer, if you're looking for a Latin empowerment podcast, this is unfortunately not that. We're just two guys growing up, talking about stories and bringing on people that we love.
I love it. Yeah, just like that. So, welcome. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you guys for clicking on this video. If you do like it, if you're on YouTube, please like and subscribe. And this is also available on audio. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, this is available on YouTube. But if you are on those platforms, please rate us 5 stars and leave a review if you'd like. But that's us, and this is what we do. So I'd like to start off with a little bit of science because Marcos and I just got into a little query, and let's just see. Why do you die when your neck breaks? Let's see.
So to provide some context for the Hispanic on Paper listeners today, we were getting in the conversation talking about this one movie. It was Truth or Dare. I've never seen it, but there's one scene where a character throws his neck onto like a bar counter.
It was a pool table, yeah.
It was a pool table,
Yeah.
and then he just cracks a vertebrae. And so my question was, why does somebody insta-die if you touch a spine?
So I've
always heard that.
I gave a general answer. I actually didn't realize how close I was to being right. So any injury to the vertebrae can have serious consequences because the spinal cord is the central nervous system's connection between the brain and the body.
Okay.
So
you sever that link.
So damage to the spinal cord is very serious and can result in paralysis or death. So yeah, basically, that's exactly why your brain's stem function for breathing, pulsating, heartbeat. If you break your neck, 1, you slowly lose oxygen. 2, your heart will. Yeah, so
that's one thing you never think about in those movies. Is like those guys don't die instantly. They're just paralyzed from the neck down. They just suffocate until they die.
Yeah,
it's like, oh god. Anyways, guys, this was a great way to start off a wonderful, wonderful.
It really
episode.
was. I know. So a little bit of heck yeah. You all just walked away with something a little more interesting.
Boom.
One of the best things about this podcast, which is going to be and the other reason why we do this podcast is for something us to look back on in 20 years and smile at. Because we were actually pretty cool kids. So, 42-year-old me, we're going to spend a lot of time.
Let's get that cam view.
42-year-old me. Marcos and I are going to talk about this extensively. So let's just get right into it. Let's go back to this past weekend, which was the first time that we ever snowboarded and skied.
Yes. Man, what a time. So 2 days ago, this was what, 2 days ago?
3
days ago?
Friday.
Oh, yeah. So Friday, we get up in the morning, go to Flagstaff, and we leave at like 6:30, somewhere around that time. Get there around like 9-ish with traffic and everything. Perfect, right?
Yeah.
Pick up a buddy, and we go to a place called Snowbowl. Snowbowl is one of 2 big ski resorts in Arizona. This one is located in Flagstaff.
Yep.
And we had an Airbnb up there. It was amazing. The view, honestly, I can't stress that enough.
Oh, from the Airbnb?
From the Airbnb and from the slopes themselves.
Yeah.
I will say, like, aside from the whole trip itself, just the whole thing was eye candy all the way up. Like,
it was.
The snow. And we happened to hit a weekend where it was perfect. It had just snowed.
It had just snowed, it's like 6 inches. So
yeah, fresh powder.
All the people in like the snowboarding community, they call it powder day or everyday powder or powder day. Yeah. Fresh powder. And basically, if you've been snowboarding for a while, you look at powder as no injury land. So I saw people doing some crazy shit just because they're like, there's so much powder, you can't get hurt.
Yeah, I saw people hit jumps and try to do backflips and then just scorpion, but then they just boop.
They just get right back up.
Yeah, they just absorb it like memory foam.
Because it's basically memory foam, yeah.
But
we were all beginners. Only one of us had ever snowboarded before. Shout out Aiden.
You've seen him on podcast before.
He just shredded. The cool thing about that is that I actually do feel a little bit bad for Aiden because he did so much teaching on the first day that he never really had to push himself. So he was definitely a little bit bored, but that's okay. He had more fun teaching us than he would have been like by himself shredding.
Yeah, I think it was fun for him to get the spotlight in that regard because he's like I'm their god right now.
Oh, absolutely, and he totally was. Every time I had the chance to talk to him about something, I'd be like, so like my hips, it was fantastic. But I found out that I'm a freaking born shredder. Born to snowboard. So I've already got a shopping cart on this website picked out for all the shit.
Put it together.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Yeah, dude, it's just nice. So
Talk about let's first talk about apprehensions that you had. Let's break into you and then me. So let's talk about what were some of the hardest things you had to learn snowboarding wise for beginner Kashi.
yeah, so I'm a pretty good surfer. I like surfing, so I actually thought that a lot of that would play into snowboarding, which actually it did.
Okay.
It did.
Okay.
Just with the balance and the
Weight distribution?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And that was very beneficial. But
Just a lot more going down.
yes. So one thing about me, this is going to be a total ego stroke, and I don't mean to sound like a total prick when I say this. I have no fear. I have no fear, and when I do, it's very temporary. And I recognize blah, 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 whatever. It sounds annoying, but it's just.
But also think about the circumstances too. We had a few things at play. Powder.
Yeah.
We had powder. We had thick gear.
Yeah.
And we also just are thick ourselves.
Yeah. We're some beefy boys.
Yeah. We had cushion for the pushing. You know.
Hey, I like it. But yeah. It was just a good time. So yeah, starting off, the biggest issue immediately, which I think is a case for most snowboarders, is slowing down.
Okay.
It's hard to figure out logistically how to slow down because you don't just stop.
You're moving. Yeah.
Surfing, when you want to stop, it's very easy to stop. You just either jump off or
Blink.
Yeah, or turn inward towards a wave and crash. Bicycle, when you want to stop, you hit the brake.
You got brakes.
Motorcycles, all that. But snowboarding, it's a very, very delicate process, and the whole game, the whole name of the game, if you're on audio, sorry, but it's heel toe. Your heels communicating with your toes, communicating with the rest of your body. When you're if you want to slow down and face the mountain, you're gonna go on your toes really hard, and you're gonna hit the board at the snow at a very weird angle, and vice versa. Your heels just like leaning so far back that it's very finicky.
It's not even so much like one thing that I kind of learned was like slowing down is really just about placing your weight in a way that you're putting so much snow under you. You're displacing a lot of snow, so it's just eating your momentum.
Yeah. Yep.
Or like similar to what you said about surfing, it actually does translate really well with that is turning wide.
Oh, exactly.
So turning wide and almost going perpendicular to the mountain,
yeah, exactly.
or perpendicular to the slope, you're just chewing through that momentum and you're just letting all that ride.
So that's the exact thing. When I started getting a little bit better, and I was catching some like serious speed, and that was when I started carving the snow like nobody's business. Is when I wanted to slow down and go to the left, I'd rotate my hips to the left, and I'd have my toes going in towards the snow to create friction. And then when I wanted to slow down and go to the right, I would turn my hips to the right and lean my heels back and carve the snow. And once I got the hang of that, it was over.
Yeah.
Once I got that, I was like, okay.
And at what point in the day? So let's say we get to the ski resort by noon. We got to the resort by like what? Noon?
We got there at like 10. We got snowboarding at like 11:30. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So 11:30.
So we had 4.5 hours. It actually kind of frustrating. I learned exactly what I needed to do at 3 hours and 20 minutes. So with about 45 minutes left is when I was like,
so
I got this. Yeah. So what about you?
What about 3 hours and 20 minutes? Marcus learned how to stand up and not just on his own with the help of his poles. So day one was really rough for me in particular because one, I was the only one in the group who was
on skis.
Yeah. And one thing, which is a big FU to me, was how heavy skis were.
Yeah. We actually didn't know that.
So I looked like to those who didn't know, or Kashi sees me walking, I just look I look weak as freak.
You really did, yeah.
Yeah, but then I actually told you to pick up the skis.
Yeah, exactly.
And you were kind of like,
no shade whatsoever. He did.
No.
I was like, there are even points where I was like, what's his deal? Like, is this a bit?
No, and then but the boots themselves, the boots are super heavy.
Yep.
And they're basically like walking on platform heels.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And yes, I have done that before, and I talked about it in an earlier episode. Love you, Charlie. It is. I actually learned it was a rite of passage from a previous video that was shared in the group chat.
A Snapchat flashback. Yeah, Charlie has a pair of size 12 heels, and basically every time a guy heads over, he's like, "Hey, bro, will you please try these on?" And
no. He doesn't say, "Will you please?" He says, "It is a rite of passage. You have to try these on."
If you want to hang out with me in my apartment, you have to wear these.
Boom.
And we do.
Very easy request too.
Yeah.
So first of all, those are super difficult to walk in.
Absolutely.
Especially uphill, because like people in snowboarding boots, they're regular boots.
Yeah.
They are regular boots. Albeit they're chunky, but ski shoes are big. They're heavy, and like the only time that we ever saw somebody fall, and this was an astute observation led by Audrey herself. Shout out. Is anytime that we saw somebody fall, walking on like normal ground, not snow.
Oh,
it was in ski boots.
Ski boots.
It was never in snowboarding boots.
Interesting.
Think about that.
That is right.
Every single time. And anytime, the first time that
we
she
mean
brought
like
that up,
walking at wood, like at the restaurant.
yeah,
People-
walking on like a
people just
deck
fall
or brick.
Yeah,
bricks,
exactly.
something
Yeah.
like that. Boom. Toast.
Interesting. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Very fascinating.
Yeah, and maybe it was just the quality of the boots, or maybe it's just the lack of skill.
Well, if you think about it, like so, a snowboarding boot, it's a normal boot more or less, and the entire base of your foot is on the ground more or less. But now, if you take a snowboarding boot,
And a
and then
ski
and
boot.
then so basically, how you make a ski boot out of a snowboarding boot is you take these two metal hinges that are about the size of a deck of cards.
it's like this. It's like literally like imagine taking something the width of an iPhone.
Yeah, the width of an iPhone and about the shape, the square, the rectangle size of a deck of cards.
And you stick it to the bottom
and
of the
you
boot.
put it at the ball of your foot and at the heel of your foot, and that's all you have to walk on.
That's it.
It's kind of like those monk sandals where it's just those. It's like
Yeah.
So it's similar to those
samurai
and-
shoes.
Exactly. So that's why people are just falling all over a bit.
Wooden sandals.
Interesting.
So I spent a lot of the day like actually trying to just learn how to stand up, and that was really hard because the first hurdle that I actually encountered was just even learning how to like put the boots on correctly.
Yeah.
I didn't figure that out until day 2. So I think I actually injured myself a little bit, like hurt my knee a little bit because
Yeah.
when I was trying to learn how to stand up, and also I made the mistake of following you guys up to a blue slope right off the bat.
Yeah.
I didn't even know how to stand in my skis, let alone walk in them. So
Yeah.
for me to go down that, I spent like 2 hours on that hill.
I thought
just getting down.
The funny thing is, I thought that was the easiest slope. The one we started.
That's
on?
what I thought it was too.
Yeah.
Because when you go up, you're looking at these slopes and you are just seeing a 10% grade.
Yeah.
It's almost like
Not
people are
bad.
going like, well, I mean, for somebody who's brand
beginners
new,
too, which we all were.
yeah. But like,
I guess you're right, actually.
This,
No, you're
this
right.
intermediate, like that slope, that first blue slope that we saw was only probably about like a 6% grade.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was just really big and
Yeah.
it had a lot of land for it. But like, I ended up just spending most of the day trying to figure out how to stand up and just go down. So I practiced the baby slopes next to those 4-year-old kids, and I was like, I have zero shame.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely
Yeah.
not. I'm just gassed
Yeah.
because elevation.
Yeah.
We were
Oh man, I got my
92
ass kicked. Yeah.
9,200 feet elevation.
Yeah.
That's like
And the day before we were at like 28 or 3,200 or something like that.
3,200 is
Yeah.
probably like Arizona.
Yeah. No, Chandler. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Chandler. So, man, just absolutely getting minked on. But
Yeah.
second day, right?
Yeah.
Second day, go up. I figure out how to get my boots right because I know that I had my left boot right.
Okay,
That
that's
whole
good.
day, that whole first day.
That's cool.
I knew it felt right. The ball on my heel sat right. The pressure was distributed pretty evenly on my shin because it's supposed to. I mean, it's supposed to be pressure on your shins.
Yeah.
Because like I guess how it works is since you're already going down, your feet are already tilted down.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
You're-
Okay. Yeah.
A majority of your weight, so you should be able to sit back and rest on your heels.
Yeah.
And then kind of almost sit like that. And then
I see.
the weight that's placed on your shin is meant so you can still
It's-
turn
yeah,
and guide yourself
that's
like
cool.
that.
That's
Because the
cool.
back of your heel is supposed to move when you're steering.
Yeah.
Because then you bring your skis back to parallel.
That's cool.
I did not really learn how to slow down, but Marcos did a really good job. So he found the beginner slope. It was
Yeah.
actually off to the left of. I actually thought it was going to be more daunting, so I was like, I'll just take the walk because.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. Took the walk over to a side and found like a baby slope. It was really, really low real estate, like or low traffic, right?
Yeah.
Hardly anybody was going through there. It was a lot of land to work on.
Yeah.
And the slope wasn't too bad. And so like I was like, okay, Marcos is gonna practice going from the halfway point, which was where he discovered the slope,
I see. Yeah.
riding it down to the
see.
lift,
Yeah.
and then going back up top. And so like Marcos did make the mistake though of powder, not knowing. He walked about
yeah.
40 yards downhill, just like taking each boot probably a foot or two out of deep trench snow.
Yeah. So basically, once you got a little bit too far off of the trail, like they should have had markers up, but like it was like the very, very soft, fresh snow. And you can't ski or snowboard on that.
You get no speed.
Yeah, and you just it's like snowboarding through sand type thing where you're like shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I saw the amount of like footprints that you could see through that whole alleyway.
That was probably me.
There was a lot
honestly.
of people. I saw like 10-year-olds like holding their snowboard in their hand.
Yeah.
Like, huh,
And
huh, huh.
and for one thing though, like skis are heavy and they just I don't know why because of how thin they are.
I know it's very fascinating.
It's just holding like 2 pieces of steel rebar, like
Yeah.
just 2 flat
Yeah.
pieces of steel. But picking up a snowboard, I walked up and I picked it up one hand and it felt like plywood.
Yeah.
It was the lightest material on earth.
Yeah,
And
like
I was so mad.
a big tissue box. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that first day, man, we all got abused. We took a beating that first day. Everyone except for Aiden, dude. I messed up my shoulder pretty good.
Hurt my knee.
Yeah,
That was it.
just because we couldn't slow down. Like I didn't know how to slow down. So whenever I got scared, I would just bail and send myself straight backwards.
Oh, what about no fear? No fear.
Whenever I lost control.
No.
Actually,
Whenever Chris realized that the danger cost outweighed the safety.
Exactly.
You know?
So yeah, the second I lost control, exactly. Like, right when I was like, oh shit, I'm not
actually
in control
what it is.
anymore.
Yeah.
I'm not in control anymore. I don't feel 100% comfortable. That's how I felt 95% of the time. I think there was a time the first day where I was like, okay, like I'm going to hit someone. I'm just going to bail and dive at the ground. And I did.
Yep.
The second day, actually, this is after I kind of like found like that
rhythm.
that pre-mastery.
Yeah.
And I'm actually, if I weren't wearing a helmet, I would have had like a substantial concussion.
Yeah. Honestly, Marcos has one noggin. Chris has one noggin.
Yeah. So I was going backwards.
Never too cool for helmets.
I was going backwards, or not going back. I was slowing down to the left way where I was facing the mountain, and basically I didn't have enough lean on my toes, so my heels were pushing down, and then I caught the slope.
Oh, caught a bank,
I got flung backwards, and I like bam right on the back of my head. And I got rattled. I definitely got rattled for sure.
Yeah.
I've had plenty of concussions, so I knew it wasn't a concussion, but I was just like, whoa, like I just got my bell rung. Like, boom.
Yeah. I got clocked.
Exactly.
By a mountain.
Yeah. But
kind of hard.
It was kind of nice knowing that like we did have like pairs or at least trios going. I feel everyone except for Marcos, more or less.
Yeah, because So I knew that like I already knew that when I was gonna go, I was going to be alone because of just like because I knew that I wasn't going to progress nearly as fast as you guys. I don't think.
No.
Because I knew that you guys generally already have athletic prowess in terms of like you have, and also there's another thing that too. One thing like that nobody really like I guess tells you is how much stability muscles. Not even about raw strength. It's stability muscles. Using your weight to push yourself up.
What's the word? There's like a word for it. Yeah, where it's like the muscles that you don't activate that much.
It's those stability muscles.
Stability muscles.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
Because you have your main flex.
Yeah.
You got your main ones.
It's like fundamental. Like it's
secondary.
Like it's like the fundamental aspect.
Hind muscles.
Yeah, where it's like you're
using your adductors, your abductors,
exactly.
Things like that. You're using a lot of like random places in your core. You're using like actual what's it called? Freaking
obliques.
Yeah, you're using your obliques.
The tendon behind your knees. Like if you don't have strong knee tendons, like you're gonna have a difficult time.
That's me. I had a tough time standing up.
Yeah,
and like it got to the point where like once I figured out how to strap in my boots, it was no longer an issue about like. I guess like standing up using my poles.
Yeah.
Because that was one thing. A guy, he totally dicked on me for just like my second day.
Yeah.
A guy was like, it was kind of mean. It was like the only thing that was slightly, it was tough love. It was more or less tough love. Because I was like, okay, there was no way that he could have known that I was like second day, but he definitely could tell that I was new probably.
Or an adult.
An adult. Dude pulls up on a fucking, what is it, snowmobile, rides up the slope, and then he's like, I fell in front of the ski lift and I punched off my thing, like my ski.
Yeah.
And I was struggling to kind of get up a little bit. And he's like, hey, man, you know you're not going to be able to use your poles all the time? Like, hey, I want you to know that you got to learn how to stand up without that. And I was like, I looked at him and I was like, you're absolutely right. I was like, yep, thanks, man. You didn't even help me up. And I was like, cool. I was like, you're absolutely right, dude.
Later.
Yeah, later.
Interesting.
So I was like, okay.
I don't know how I'd feel about that.
I was like, dude, that's some solid advice.
Took it for what it was worth.
Yeah, I took it for what it was worth, and I knew that it wasn't
ill-intended.
No, it wasn't mean-spirited. It was genuine. It was a genuine piece of advice.
Completely.
Yeah, but I was like, hey, man. I just thought to myself, I was like, I'm giving myself slack because obviously, like, I know my circumstances.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
good for you then.
So I was like, cool.
Very fascinating. Yeah, I just know that I had a lot of the stuff that we were using was borrowed. I don't own any snow gear. All I had was snow pants and like a bib. I had a snow bib, and that was it.
Borrowed or rented?
That was all I had. But I did borrow this guy's goggles, and they were Twisted Tea goggles.
They are so fire.
They're really cool. So if you don't know what Twisted Tea is, it's the most college drink ever. It's like it's
a spiked iced tea.
Yep, and it's popular in frat houses and stuff like that. And it said Twisted Tea on the sides. Yep. So I had a lot of people that were like complimenting me on that. So like there was a weird part of me where I was like, whenever I felt that people were like seeing me struggle, I was always like, damn, like I do think that there was like a little bit
all
of
gear, no game.
Kind of where like I think it was totally self-conscious, but I was like, whenever I'd eat shit and I'd see guys like around our age like just blow past me, and I'm just like, damn, I feel like they just looked at my goggles and I'm like, what an idiot.
dude's so cool.
Yeah,
but, like,
exactly. So
can't thrash.
But it was like a weird little motivation for me to just get better. Like, you know, if you were given like a $3,000 pair of hooping sneakers, and you go out to the basketball courts the next day and you're just like, okay, I need to do well.
Yeah.
I have the best sneakers out here. Like, I have to do well.
I think what was more motivation for me on the second day was Audrey was struggling bad too, and like
No
with
shade.
certain no shade at all.
No
She
shade.
because she told me.
Yeah.
I didn't see her at all the first day except getting there and leaving.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
So yeah. Or taking a break and eating whatever. And so I was like, hey Audrey, let me show you the beginner slope that I've been going on. And like, cause it's just a green slope.
Yeah.
Super easy was the one I just mentioned. And she's like, all right, cool. Showed up to the halfway point. I just immediately, that was the first time where I was like, man, I actually have to look like I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It was kind of like an implicit, like, I can't show her this and then look like an idiot. That was the first time
That's funny. I know exactly what you're talking about.
That was the first time I had skied down, like, successfully, like, 3/4 of that slope without falling.
Interesting.
And I was like, man, I just kind of bailed out, but I had, like, that was the first time I developed control.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit.
That's very cool, dude. It
was motivation.
For me, that was the best feeling. It was for me when I got like freaking raging speed, and I was like that was when I was like, I felt it in my veins. Like the adrenaline was so loud in my ears. And that was also the first time where I'm like, oh my gosh, this is not like surfing at all. And I thought it'd be like surfing because I don't know, like just the movement, the motion, and I thought mentally it'd be the same too. But surfing black and white, it's not dangerous. Surfing's not that dangerous of a sport by any means. And
depending on the level you're at.
If you're even if you're even like a semi good swimmer, you're more or less fine. If you're doing these 30-50 foot waves,
if you're surfing big kahuna waves, like those once in a decade,
sure, you're a little bit. But even still, like if you're a good swimmer and you know how to bail,
if you had a normal beach,
exactly.
Generally your chances are pretty good. Yeah, life vest.
But I was snowboarding and I was doing like newbie snowboarding, and I was like, yo, like so the first time I caught some serious speed, and that's when I was like, yo, like this is a whole nother world. Because I was like, Josh, shout out Josh, was also with us, and the first day Josh owned me. He owned me because he's also snowboarded before, but he was like 10 years old. But I think I obviously he retained a lot of it because he was doing fantastic the first day.
That's awesome. And
owned me. And about the first third of the second day as well. And I don't know what it was, but like I think there was this. I mean, I'm not even gonna act like I'm being an asshole when I say this. I am very athletic. I am very coordinated. I am very. I'm a pretty talented athlete.
Chris, go gym.
I go gym. I lift. Yeah, I do all. I play a lot of sports.
Volleyball.
And so I think that was about a third through the second day where. The first day it was me, Aiden, and Josh like kind of kicking it together.
The talent to struggle ratio.
Yeah. So halfway through the second day, I bailed on Aiden and Josh to go hang out with my girlfriend and Tim, and we were just all chit chatting and doing the bunny slopes or whatever, like just trying to. But then the second day is when I was like watching Josh, and then I was boarding next to Josh, and then I started beating Josh down the hill, and I was like, whoa. Oh, someone got a hang of this. And then towards the end of the second day, Aiden was like, all right, you guys, like, I'm really sorry. I'm going to start doing like the crazier stuff. And Josh wasn't about it. And I was like, oh, I'm all about it. Now that I have like a general understanding.
That's Aiden having to take a second ski lift after already going up. And we're just
we didn't do that one yet. We didn't do that one yet, but instead of going to the left, you go to the right, and the right side it was like once you get to the top of the blue hill.
Yeah. I went through on one of my first runs with that. I went to the left and I veered where you came out of.
Yeah,
was where I went in, or a little bit higher.
I know what you mean. No,
you know what I
mean.
Yeah. So there was that first clearing, and then it diverts into two paths. I went down that the first time that I went down that slope.
Yeah.
And
wow, that's funny.
And there were kids there.
Yeah.
And that was the first time where it was ever kind of tight in terms of spacing. And I was moving still. I didn't slow down at all, like it felt. So I had to that was the first time I ever had to use my poles to really, at least in a calculated manner.
Yeah.
Not just me trying to fumble and hold myself up.
Interesting.
It was actually I used it and I pushed off kind of hard and I veered around the kid.
That's cool, man.
And then I just kind of yelled on your left. And I was I can't slow down. I'm a giraffe. Yeah. And then I was like, sorry, Dad. Yeah. And he's like, you're good, bro. And
that's funny. Yeah, dude. I don't know what it was, but so towards the last half of the second day, I think Aiden had a bit of a where he's like,
Gosh, he's kind of.
He was like, "Oh shit! Like I can't keep up with him."
You found the curve.
Yeah, so it was so rewarding. And shout out Jace. Jace is a prick. I'll just be straight. Jace was a total asshole about this whole thing. And Jace is a very, Jace
is cracked.
Yeah, we've talked about Jace a million times on the podcast. He's been one of my best buds for 10 years now. And
very athletic.
Of all the things in this world that I'm very talented at, Jace can still out wrestle me. I was a very good wrestler, and Jace.
And Chris is big,
and I'm twice his size. I'm literally twice Jace's size, and he owns me. It's so strange. And diving, I'm a very talented diver. Jace owns me on the diving board.
He just like that.
Yeah. So snowboarding. Guys, yeah. He also has a 2-year head start on, or yeah, about.
Also he lived in Flagstaff for longer.
Exactly. So But basically, the way he painted his picture, he's like, "Oh, you're going snowboarding? I mean, good luck," or some shit like that. And then he was alluding to like, "Yeah, you'll probably be able to like turn by like the end of the second day. You're going for 2 days. Yeah, by the end of your trip, you'll be able to like turn." That's what I think. And I just, as he's saying this, that plus the Twisted Tea goggles, I was like, no.
I look too good to fail.
Exactly. So after 2.5 hours, I learned how to turn. And I was like, dude, if this is the baseline, if this is the rate of learning, I'm going to smash this. And I was exactly right. At the end of the second day, I did a one jump. It wasn't a high jump, but I got off the ground. I got off the ground and I landed back on the ground.
Yeah.
Very grateful. But yeah, man, just a good trip. So yeah, especially finding that pocket where you're like, oh no, like I'm like good at this. I definitely got to hit that point, and I'm not everyone on the trip did, but
one thing that I did learn about skiing post trip was no matter what level you're at, generally skiing never looks fast.
No. Oh yeah.
It doesn't. There's not like my dad even showed me. So one thing I was uber jealous of that my dad's buddy did is they went to Keystone, which is in like Colorado.
That's cool.
I believe.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. And his friend ended up putting together an iMovie trailer, like one of those classic, like the cool, like the action one, the action trailer.
I literally said I would end up doing that, but we didn't really get the footage for it. That's funny. Yeah.
The action template. He showed me like videos of stuff, and like there were some clips where like they were actually doing stuff, and some clips would look fast. You know what I mean? But like I felt like I was going at least 15 miles per hour, which is
that's fast.
That's Mach 1 for Marcos. Yeah. He doesn't often go that fast on a regular basis. Yeah, non-car
outside of a vehicle. Yeah,
yeah, and I don't know, but when I rewatched the video, I'm like, I'm just going.
That's the shitty thing too, especially because like the videos that Aiden and I got at the very end,
you guys were going fast.
No, we were hauling ass, but it really doesn't look like that in the videos. And yeah, I'm probably going to overlay the videos as we're talking about that. But
yeah. You guys can see me wipe out.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was just a great trip, and not only that, but even when we got back to the Airbnb, everything was perfect. That was one of the best Airbnbs I've ever stayed in.
That was
experience wise, it was absolute perfection,
and it was also just stupid cozy.
Yeah,
it was very, very cozy,
very homey.
Dude, it felt like farmstead. It was probably about like an acre big.
Oh really?
Like
yeah, absolutely.
And
I just got my review. I literally just got this notification.
Oh, did you?
Hey, you got your review
of a guest day?
Yeah.
How was that?
It's gonna be like Chris was a great guest and a great communicator. Happy to have him stay with us.
Oh,
love
it.
Look at that. Thanks, Faith.
Shout out Faith.
But so the first night we had a couple people come over. We got pretty blitzed. It was a great time. Yeah. Shout out Rachel and Matt.
Everything was very tame.
Just a fantastic time.
Yeah.
Julia was with us and we had an outstanding time. But yeah, we I don't know, man. The second night, however,
comma.
Yeah. So the second night, I was exhausted, man. Like we talked about this a little bit when I found out that like a decent amount of people go on like 3, maybe even 4-day ski trips.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's generally
the baseline is 3 days. That's crazy.
That's a binge, but that's also. Those people are markedly at a level like Absolutely. That they've progressed more.
So I didn't realize this when I learned that. When I learned that 3 days was like the standard, I was like, no fucking way could I do that.
Now take day 2. Okay, so let's say this. Take day 2 Kashi.
Yeah.
Where you've already had a day to rest.
Exactly. Oh, I see what you mean.
Let's see. So like you've acclimated 1 to the elevation, more or less. 2, ready?
Hit me.
You have that skill. And now, like, second day for me, I put way less strain on my body because I knew what I was doing a little bit more, to a point where I got injured less.
Exactly.
I fell less, and I also had more technical application.
So that's the exact point that I was about to make. Perfect. I was going to, basically, when I found out, like, halfway through day 2, like, of hanging out at the Airbnb, I was like, no way I could. My body right now, there's no possible way I could do 3 days of this. And then I thought about it. I fell 30 times day 1. I fell like 30 times, like hard, or like 8 times really hard, and
the other
22 times like I fell, yeah. And then I thought about the day 2. I fell twice. One of them was a really bad head smash, but the other one was like a normal fall, an average fall. And when I thought, I started putting that together, and I was like, okay, if I didn't fall 30 times, I definitely would have likely had another day in me.
Yeah,
so.
you could, like, some people take week-long trips and just do 4 days of skiing, and then a day to acclimate,
and then go
day
back
to rest, and the day to leave.
Yeah,
So
I hope Aiden and I actually do this before the season ends. I'm super down to just, like, I mean, no disrespect to the squad, but, like, maybe, I don't know, but he and I just sneak up for a day.
That's
just
fun.
one day, just go up.
Yeah,
that'd be super sick. I've been thinking about that a lot.
good, dude. Go on a Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah,
Dude, that's the advice. I genuinely got that advice from everybody. Nobody applies that. Do you like understand?
I couldn't.
Right.
I simply wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah, no. I'm saying, like, if you have 1, the PTO, and 2, the availability to get that in advance.
If you can go on a weekday,
prices are going to be super cheap. They said
a third.
Yeah, literally a third of the cost. I think okay, so people had a lot of opinions about, like, fluctuating pricing, or like dynamic pricing is what they called it.
Yeah.
I think it's a great deterrent because of all the accounts that I had of other people saying, like, we could have encountered, if they didn't have that and they just set level pricing for that, we could have gotten turned around at the base of the mountain, and that would have been it.
Interesting.
Yeah, because, like, I've had people actually, I talked to people on the ski lift, and they actually mentioned that. They're like, yeah, one time we bought our tickets online, we got there early, and we started talking to some of the staff, just shooting the shit, and they were saying, like, yeah, we've been turning away people for the last 3 hours.
Damn.
Like, at the base of the mountain, you don't even get to go up.
Yeah.
Which is cool, because wasting that trip would suck.
Gas and
Jesus.
When there's traffic getting up that mountain, it's what, 2 miles?
I think it's like 2.5.
Yeah, so,
like,
2.5 miles, and it takes like 45 minutes.
Yeah, just because of all the cars.
Yeah, and averaging out like 7 miles per hour, and you're just like, oh my god.
Jeez. Yeah, I mean, in general, Marco's learned a lot besides just skiing in general too. He learned how to drive in the snow. That was cool.
Oh yeah, so that was a great trip. I was really proud of Marcos. I've driven in the snow. I've driven heavy things in the snow.
I didn't live in Flag.
I've driven, tens of thousands of miles just because it's what I've done over the course of my last 3 jobs. And there were multiple times where, like, Marcos, I at first I kind of admired his willingness to admit that he could not do something, or he wasn't comfortable doing something, but it was backing into like a weird spot. It was a very, very tough spot.
It was a hyper-specific, very tough spot.
Yeah, it was right on the edge. It was very angle, dangerous.
Snowbank, car,
it was dangerous.
Trunk.
And he put the car in park and unbuckled the seatbelt. And I was like, no. Like, hold on. Like, try it. Give it a go. Get uncomfortable. Get out of your comfort zone. Send it.
This was also like, Marcos's head was brand new car, never driven in snow hardly. And super tight spot. So I'm already like, I already don't back into spaces that often, even though I have a rear cam. Yeah. I'm like, I just don't do it that often. Yep,
absolutely.
But, like, oof.
Yeah. And he nailed it. And you nailed it. You did flawlessly. It was immaculate. I was really proud of you. After the end of the first day, I definitely had I had a homie moment. Like, you always talk about homie moments, but you talk about them in regards to other people. This is a homie moment, like, from myself to my homies.
Oh yeah,
that was at the end of the first day. We didn't end up parking in that very tight spot. We had to go even higher up to the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
And once we were done, we had to walk, and it was about a mile. It was about a half a mile walk.
Dude, yeah, it was easily a half a mile uphill.
Uphill, steep.
Yeah, you were leaning forward to stand.
Yeah, leaning forward to maintain balance. Absolutely. And we got about like 300 feet in.
Oh yeah.
And then I kind of like did a look around. I saw Marcos was like 30 feet behind.
My heart was pumping through my neck.
Yeah.
The elevation was hitting, the exhaustion, my knee hurt. I was carrying my skis and all my gear. And
Audrey and Julia were, I just saw it and I was like, damn, like, this doesn't need to happen this way. It only takes one person to bring a car back.
Yeah.
And I was just like, babe, take my board.
Kashi cracked his knuckles, his neck.
I was like, Julia, take my jacket.
And he
ran. Marcos, give me your keys.
And I said,
yep. Bam. You guys go wait right there. I'll go get the car. And I hauled ass up that mountain.
If anybody's ever been in a fast car, y'all ever heard turbo spooling? That was Kashi's legs getting ready to spring up the mountain.
And yeah, I'm not even gonna, it was fast. Like I was
dude, it was maybe for half a mile getting into the car, turning around, packing your shit or whatever you had. Took a maybe.
It was like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
gonna say 10 on a long end.
Yeah, exactly.
It was fast.
8 to 10 minutes. And I don't know. I don't know. Also, future me, if you're in the gym and you're working out and you haven't touched that sled in a while, introduce that sled to your working out because I would
set the incline.
I would not have
higher.
made it. I would not have made it if I hadn't been doing the sled
pulls.
Pushes.
Oh, pushes.
Regularly. So yeah, just that black lane on the turf at the gym, just pushing it, adding 3 or 4 plates to it, and just hauling ass.
Cool.
But yeah. So the second night, I hit the point of exhaustion when I heard that 3 days was normal. I was like, no way. But we started to drink again, and I hit a point where I actually feel bad. I could have sworn I told the group that I was going to go sneak away.
Kashi,
I disappear.
Kashi's he's a running drunk. He's straight up like you're a runner drunk.
I'm a sneaky hiding drunk.
Yeah, he's the mischievous, like carrying the burlap sack.
Yeah.
You gotta catch him.
I honestly got that I told everyone. But we had just had like a little bit of a heart to heart where none of us really walked away content. Like all of us wanted more answers out of certain people and just, not too. And I was about a third of the way through a really
good
nice
buzz.
Cigar. No, expensive cigar. I didn't buy it either.
What was the size? It was a Toro?
Toretto, yeah.
Toretto.
I'm pretty sure it's a Toretto.
It's a big one. It's all about family.
No, it's a small one. Nice, yeah. Yeah. It might be a Toro, actually.
No, that one was fat. It was fat. It was
fat, but it was short.
It was a mob boss cigar. It was a fat, like,
but it was short. It was very short, though. Yeah. And more or less, I had about a third of it left to go. And that was right when everyone was like, all right, hot tub time. And I was like, dog, I am not in like I'm not socially equipped right now to handle talking and entertaining this many people. And so I snuck away and I just laid down under a pine tree. And I don't know. What?
If I had to describe, it was probably a Robusto. 4 7/8 inches.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Robusto. Or dare I say Rothschild. It was a fat, so it was short. It's actually a very big, comprehensive size
cool.
guide. Yeah.
It wasn't a Toro. Yeah. Yeah, Robusto. You're exactly right. Very
Boom.
cool.
All right, cool.
That's cool. I gotta learn that. That's cool. But yeah, so I had a great time. So I snuck all away. I stared at the stars. I had like 30 minutes to just kill that cigar. I got, dude, that roach was tiny. I was like burning my lips and my fingers simultaneously on those last few drags.
Youch.
But I went back and joined the group, and I got grilled a little bit for disappearing.
Yeah, because everybody was like, "Hey, I went like Julia and I buddied up, and we were like, all right, let's go find Kashi.
Yeah.
Maybe he's under a bed, just trying to get away from things." I was like, "He's hiding somewhere."
I would do that.
I literally came to the conclusion. I was like, either he's like squanching in the closet, or he's just not in the house. Because there was one closet that was locked. It was probably just a towel closet.
Airbnb locked.
Linens. Yeah, it was just a linen closet.
But yeah, so I came back, joined the group. And I immediately decided as I finished that cigar, it was only like 9 o'clock. It was like 9 o'clock.
Yeah. Like, I'm done.
And I immediately decided, I said, okay, I can hear all my friends laughing right now. I'm going to go and I'm going to join them and I'm going to go have fun. The second I'm not having fun, I'm going to bed. No question, no matter what, no matter where, no matter what reason. The second I'm not having fun, I'm going to bed. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
And I got my swim trunks on. I hopped in the hot tub with all my friends. We were just chit chatting, but then we hit a point where I just stopped having fun.
It's not so much that like maybe you stopped having fun. It felt like this was the first time I felt like this probably in. I really can't put a date on it.
Yeah.
Just because I haven't had this.
Yeah.
It felt like a bad Thanksgiving where it just devolved into like bad politics, shitty takes, and just like aggression that was really weirdly misput. It was just people catching strays for no reason. And I was just sitting. Thank God I didn't bring my swim trunks at that point, because otherwise I would have been there like joining them and yelling.
Stuck.
But like I ended up sitting off to the side, full snow gear and everything, and just enjoying the serene, quiet
the view. Yeah,
the view. And it was, I mean, granted it was night, but you could still see snow falling, and it was just nice.
And just pretty.
And man, I didn't partake in that conversation at all.
Yeah, so it was basically it was just a dipshit conversation. We were all drunk and people were getting mean, and I just hit it was one sentence. It was one sentence, and I was like, oh, boom,
Okay,
not having fun. Yep, I got up and I grabbed my towel and I showered, brushed my teeth, washed my beard extra well because I hate the cigar
stench.
Yeah,
musk.
and I passed out,
Yeah.
slept like a baby.
Marcos went in a few hours later.
Yeah.
And caught fat altitude sickness.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I went to bed probably around 10:30, 10:45, 11 territory.
Mm-hmm.
Woke back up at 1 and I could not breathe. It felt like cinder blocks were in my chest and like constricting my lungs. It felt like somebody, anytime I had tried to breathe, they just went and grabbed my stuff and like
squishing your lungs when you're trying to suck in.
Yeah,
I totally get that.
I was huffing and puffing. My breath was wheezing. I could only like lay on my side.
Are you gonna drink that? You're gonna drink that? Are you not gonna drink it? No, I don't want it.
Just haven't cracked it open. It's been 41 minutes.
No, if you don't want it, it's okay. You're gonna have it? Do you want it?
Okay, cool. Yeah.
I don't want it. It's fine. It's fine. I don't want it. It's okay.
Who wants it more?
Is this camera working? I noticed you're looking at it weird. Sorry. Okay, but yeah, altitude sickness.
Yeah, it was bad. I walked out. That was the first time I've ever hit an inhaler in my life.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
First time.
Interesting.
It was not yours. It was Josh's.
Yeah.
So it did not do shit for me.
Yeah.
It really didn't.
Weird.
Yours did. Yeah. I was so messed up because one, I pushed my body way beyond its limit for Marcos's physical like prowess.
Yeah.
Who just doesn't participate in that relatively enough.
Yeah. Yeah. I can
Only volleyball, really.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're great at volleyball.
That's it.
I definitely I was talking to my girlfriend's dad about it a little bit, and I was just like, dude, like this trip wasn't a testament to the brilliance of the human body.
Yeah.
Because I took a beating. I got my shit rocked, and then just to come out day 2 and perform even better. You know, like football players, you know, the offensive and defensive linemen, like just the straight abuse. Running backs, good Lord. But yeah, no, I'm in, you know, so we woke up that second morning. Oh shit, give me one sec. One sec.
Do. Oh yeah, we gotta hit the classic.
No way.
Uh-oh, card full.
No way.
Uh-oh. Yeah, so I mean, I think it was a great overall. It was an amazing trip, and one thing I will definitely say to Chris, mad props to you, is the photos you took of me. Yeah. I don't get photos of that like myself, like at all. I don't take selfies. I hardly do that. Like I don't get. You got me portrait mode sitting.
Quick side story. I was walking out of QT yesterday and I saw this guy just eating a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit.
Yeah.
Leaning on his motorcycle with his helmet, like leaned on a pole against. And he cool sunglasses on, big plaid flannel and a leather jacket. And he's just like, just munching down. I look at him and he looks at me and he like gives me a step nod. And I was just like, dude, give me your phone. Give me your phone. I'm taking a picture of you. And the sun was perfect. It was very cloudy. And I literally was in my work uniform, and I was just like,
he's going to post that.
Yeah, no, he is. No, that's going to be his new Facebook profile. I guarantee it.
This guy's new background.
Yeah?
Was the one you took of me sitting on the rocks at cool, Black Canyon?
Yeah, that was really cool. Yeah. I love those.
Those are great photos.
Yeah, so, to that guy, I was just like, yeah, dude, give me your phone right now. Give me your phone right now. I'm taking a picture of you. And he's like, what? And I was like, give me your phone. I'm taking a picture of you. And he's, okay, yeah, man, thanks. Super awkward. On a badass motorcycle nonetheless. But yeah, I took a picture of him and he looked at it. He's like, dude, thanks, man. I love this. And I was like, you're welcome, dude. Got back in my work van.
You know what that is? That's a human moment.
Yeah, very wholesome. I love that. So yeah, Aiden and I were both on video detail. We were taking videos of everyone, trying to get some cool action shots, trying to get videos of people looking good.
Yeah.
But what's funny is that like kind of what Marcos just said earlier is that like, you know, even, you know, Tim and Audrey kind of talked. They were like, damn, I thought I was going like way faster when that happened. Then you look at the video and you're just like, damn, like I know you were, but it doesn't look like you were just because of, I don't know, distance.
Angles.
Yeah,
it was height relative to like a ski lift or behind.
Yeah, that's a good point, because we recorded some of the videos on the ski lift, but like the ones where Aiden is recording behind me or I'm recording behind Aiden, and it's like, oh shit, he's like,
you know what it
faster.
is? It's like the battlefield effect. You know when you're seeing those little just red dots move, and you're like, okay, I'm getting a top down view. This guy's probably hauling, and his little icon just going, beep, you know. So
that's very fascinating.
Even if you're 30 feet up, 35 feet up on the ski lift above them, it's gonna look a little skewed.
But yeah, dude. Those of you in the snow, those are great pictures.
Yeah, genuinely.
We woke up that last morning where we were about to pack up. Audrey and I woke up, and she was just like, "Hey, I'm not ready to wake up, but do you want to go build a snowman?" And I was like, "Yeah."
And it had just snowed.
Yeah, it was snowing like crazy all night.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went and we built a snowman in the morning. It was just kind of a nice moment.
It's probably like 4 inches overnight. Four to like.
Yeah, it was 4. It was exactly 4. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And we started packing up, started cleaning up. I went back inside, got a little cat nap. It was a good time. And Marcos wasn't feeling too hot, but we packed up the cars beautifully.
Oh, dude, Papa would be proud.
Yeah.
Because there's one thing about Randall Lynn, that man.
Yeah.
If there's one thing he can do. That dude, I'm so glad.
Tetris.
I'm so glad the world never got to see him play Tetris. He would have annihilated people. We're talking competition level up there with the devs, and I feel like you and I put a testament to that. We definitely finagled some stuff.
We did a
clean.
good job. We did a very good job. Plenty of room. Audrey was able to make like a little bed in the back seat.
Mad cozy.
The drive home was very treacherous for like an hour.
Yeah,
we saw like crashed cars and semi trucks pulled over. It was kind of scary.
It was genuinely.
But after that hour of like scariness, like over the course of the next 45 minutes, I felt like we were rewarded.
It was green. It was just sunny enough with clouds to be able to like pierce them so you can see through. And
just
it was
a glorious day out. And we were on top of a mountain nonetheless, driving down towards the valley. And we could see everything. And we stopped. We got some ice cream, we got some pie.
Yeah, we went to
beef jerky.
Yeah, it was Black Canyon or like Black Rock Pico or something like that.
Something like that.
It was one of those where like if you're going down the 17, like you're going to pass it at some point.
Yeah.
I've always seen it, and I've driven to Flagstaff a lot just for like other trips and stuff, but I've always passed it. I've never actually like went to it. So it's always been something. It's always been something on my list that I've wanted to do.
Yeah.
And Audrey and Chris indulged me. They were just like, let's go. Let's do it.
Because it was Marcos. He's like, hey, I hear, is there a pie shop on the way back? And we were both like, yes, but we don't know what it's called. So we looked into it, and
it was on the way. It was literally the same route.
All three of us just like down, wavy.
We were doing amazing on time, of course.
Wavy, plans, bet, easy. And we stopped, had some of the best pie I've ever had, some of the best beef jerky I've ever had,
and even better photos.
Yeah,
just all around the board.
Yeah, we took a little walk and we got some really, really cool photos.
Yeah, there's a little like creek almost. It was like just a little pre-pond.
Just a great fucking trip, man. Yeah. So what do we have? How long do we talk about skiing?
About the length of the episode, 40 minutes.
No way. I'm sorry, you guys. This was definitely a 5-footer episode, but this was mostly for us. But in other news outside of snowboarding and skiing, this is like not a big deal at all. If you guys watch that show, starring Penn Badgley, the main character's name is Joe Goldberg, and every season he gets a new name. Not a big deal, but so season 4 just dropped, and me and my girlfriend we're starting the first episode, and she just kind of whispered in my ear, she's like, "What do you think his new name's gonna be?"
Oh, come on!
And I guessed half of it. I guessed the last name. I guessed the last name, which is Moore.
Dang.
Jonathan Moore. And I was like, it'll probably be like Michael Moore, or like no. It'll probably be like be like a BL name, like a Blimeth or like a Blime or something, like Nicholas Blime or something like that.
Oh, okay.
And I said, I was like, yeah, Michael Moore or like Sebastian Moore or something like that. And then it was Jonathan Moore. And I was just like,
didn't you just leap out of bed?
Yeah, no, I paused it. I'm like, let's go. I called that shit. I wrote that. I picked that shit out. That was a really cool moment. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to convey that. I've been thinking about that all week. But yeah, any updates other than that? How was reacclimating after the trip? We didn't.
Oh, yeah,
we
that's
didn't record last week.
part of the. We just kind of wanted to.
Yeah.
We just didn't have much to. We weren't feeling it. It was just
Yeah.
more like, hey, let's just rest for
And
like the
let's
pre-trip.
prep for the trip.
Yeah, and pack.
Oh, that's something I got to say. Oh, okay, I got a
go
couple
ahead.
work stories.
Ooh.
So the first work story being, I had a really important meeting Thursday morning, the morning before we left skiing.
Oh.
So with that being said, I woke up Thursday morning and I was like, oh, I don't work tomorrow. Today's a good, happy Friday. I woke up Thursday morning and I thought it was Friday because I didn't work the next day.
No.
I didn't work the next day. So I was just like, okay, hey, hell yeah.
I've been there.
And it was like 8:00 and my boss calls me. This is the most bullshit thing ever too. But like, this is like, my company is a really good company, but some of the shit that they don't have figured out yet is so aggravating. And one of those things being the technology. And so I get a call.
I tried to page you.
Yeah, that's how it feels like. But I'm like, hey, well, morning, boss man. How you doing this morning? He's like, hey, Kachi, you know you're 2 hours late, man. And I'm like,
What day is it?
for what? And then I'm like, well, yeah, I get that 1,000-yard stare, and he's like, and then as I'm like, oh my god, dude, I'm so sorry. Checking my phone.
Yeah.
Phone restarting. Automatic update.
It hung up on
it. It hung up on him, and then restarted, and then it said automatic update. Dude, it took like a half hour for me to get my work phone back. So I literally, and at that point, I had
work on an Android.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Samsung.
Okay.
A20.
Oh.
Yeah, famous. Yeah,
Fix those, bro.
Yeah. So I was just furious, and I had already done stuff. I do pest control. I spray for bugs, and I had already sprayed multiple houses by that point.
He doesn't spray bugs. He sprays for bugs.
Yeah, exactly. And I was just like, dude, what? Like, are you freaking kidding me? That just happened. I literally just looked like an ass for missing an important meeting, and on top of it, it looks like he went, "Hey, you're 2 hours late."
Click. You go. It looks like you just go.
Yeah, it looks like it looked like I pulled my skirt over my head. I'm just like, dude.
Oh man,
I was furious. Is it done? Yeah, no. So that sucked. I did not get in any trouble though. Everyone was totally understanding. They were just like, "Yeah, dude,
happens."
That logic makes perfect sense." I thought it was Friday.
Yeah,
that's all the truth that there is to it.
It's kind of rare almost now that kind of the level that I'm at that I'm able to handle stuff at work where it's like, okay, I can't really have I can have a bad day and get my ass beat, but it's like meh.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, whatever. You shake it off. You don't take it home. That was the one day. It was literally the day before vacation.
Yeah.
That freaking Thursday, I just got whomped on.
I just couldn't shake it off.
It was customers. It was devices. Just shit going wrong.
Yeah.
24. It was just thing after thing after thing after thing that was bad.
You park in the driveway and you're just like,
no, I literally was like, I was in, but the best thing is about Thursdays is pizza day.
oh, that's cool.
Any tips that we get that's
cool.
bigger, anything that's a 10 or bigger, we toss into a pool and we buy pizza on Thursday.
Cool.
We go to Barrows, get the two large,
that's fun.
two large one topping pizzas, $20.
That's cool.
Bam, did that, and by the time that we had already ordered the pizza, and by the day it was over, it was 7, and it was about 6:50.
Yeah.
All of us are sitting in a circle, and the last phone, something had just gone really wrong.
Yeah.
Where we had to reverse it, put everything back together, and just give them back the broken thing because it just wasn't doing what we needed it to do.
Yeah.
So all of us are sitting in a circle. It's me and 3 other guys, Paul, Bailey, and Ian, just sitting and just munching on pizza, and we're in our really, really nice chairs, just sitting and just this fall. All of us were exhausted after that day for some reason, and we were just I just kind of sat down and I was just chilling, and they were all silent, looking at me say something, and I was like, "Man, fuck this day." Fuck. I was like,
speech.
Yeah,
man.
And then I clarified. I was like, not today. I was like, just specifically the last hours when everything just went fallout.
That's funny.
And they just were all
wanting you to say good job, team. Hey, we really.
No, I did. I definitely was
I was
like, great job for what we were.
Is that
giving.
how you ended it though?
Yeah,
You started it with. I started
like, fuck this day.
That's really funny. Yeah. The only thing that they wanted to hear, or what they were expecting to hear, was
an Optimus Prime level.
Good job, team. No. I think they just wanted the baseline, the bare minimum.
We did it.
Yeah,
we got
exactly.
Through it.
Hey, good job, you guys. We really came together as a team today. But there, you were like, fuck.
Yeah. It was just
and I think all of them, I'm willing to bet, just because we're kind of the same age and worked in similar industries, that what's expected as a manager in terms of speeches, usually it's not that good. But if I looked at my manager after I got my shit rocked and he just went, fuck today, I'd be like, yeah, man,
yeah,
thanks.
And we all laughed it off and just eating cold pizza.
Yeah, I love that.
And then just went home and then
whatever, and then skiing the next day.
I'm still thinking about it. It invokes like, no, you know what I just had? I had the Kashi put himself back in a bad mood moment.
Oh yeah. I've gotten a lot better about it. I typically did that with like relationships where I'd be like, oh damn, I wonder how she's doing, and then I'd like spiral and I'm like, fuck no, I'm in a bad mood. But, so the second shitty work story, which doesn't quite echo yours, but this is kind of messed up. Like if I tell this story the wrong way, I could get fired. So I'll tread lightly. Long story short, my work van has a camera in it. Camera pointing forward, camera pointing into the cab. And I was texting and driving, simply put. And that is a super big no-no. Like in giant bold letters in the sign here when you sign on to the job, it says if you get caught texting twice, the first time it's a 2-day suspension, no questions asked. Ooh. Second time you're done.
Damn.
Audi. And you
can be parked though, obviously.
Yeah, of course. Okay. But like while you're driving, because the camera beeps at you, and like whenever it beeps, it counts as like an incident. Is it food or water?
Can't
so if you're drinking a water, beep beep beep, and then a little burger and a drink pops up, and it's like big red X, and it pisses you off. But there's another distracted driving where like you're like if you're looking too long.
What sucks is that Kashi is really good at eating like burritos with one hand.
I'm a very talented distracted driver.
Bean and cheese burrito.
Yeah. In California, I remember at one point all the boys like I was like looking up directions to like our next 3 stops and going like 65 on the highway, and I'm just like, oh, we're going to Costco, right? And Aiden literally like right when I was done, he's like, hey dude, maybe you should have someone else do that. Yeah. And boom. Start trip. And then like, it sounds stupid, but I'm a very talented driving multitasker just because, I don't know. It's not a good thing. I recognize that. But anyway, so I get a call from one of the big bosses, like and I love this guy, and this guy loves me too. But Kashi, today you were seen on the camera, texting and driving, and you wearing headphones. I didn't know we weren't allowed to wear headphones. It's not against the law technically, but
is it?
It's you can't get cited for it.
You can get cited.
No, you can't.
You can't get cited.
You have to lie, but basically, the law states it's a huge
headphones.
I talked to multiple people, police officers about it too. I literally called the non-emergency number and I talked to multiple operators and multiple police officers.
Thank you for calling the non-emergency line, by the way.
Yeah, of course. And you're welcome.
Not a lot of people think to do that.
Yeah, honestly. No. What I do is I Googled Chandler Police Department, called that number, talked to 2 separate operators, and they patched me through to a police officer. And I was just like, "Hey, dude, tell me anything about this." And he's like, "I was like, hopefully I'm not distracting you or taking up too much of your day." And he's like, "No, dude, I'm just here radaring. Everyone's going slow today. I don't know what's happening." I was like, "All right, Officer Fry, hell yeah." And I asked him, he's like, "Yeah, dude, like I don't pull people over when they're wearing headphones, even if they are like the big ones, because." Legally, if they just say, nothing's playing, or it's on
ambient,
if it's on like
ambient sound, like transparent mode.
Yeah, transparent mode. That's the one. He's like, if they could just say it's on transparent mode, and legally, boom, they're absolved of any crime, or because it's a huge gray area. And I called this in preparation to talk to my boss, and I told him all that, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, we don't give a fuck." And I was like, "Okay," but anyway, so. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, I didn't really care. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I do have a second job lined up. I'll talk about that in a second. So I was like, they're not gonna fire me. Basically, I kind of knew that. I even called so it wasn't my manager, but it was one above him. But I called my manager and I told him about everything. And he was just like, "Yeah, dude, you're not gonna get fired, but like, you can't do that." You know,
company policy.
Lesson learned.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, I'm gonna walk in here. Like, I'm sure he was just at his computer, like, like just goofing off or whatever. And he just got the notification and just chose to pick on me that day. Like, I guarantee you that's what it was.
Okay.
So what I did was I put on my nicest pair of shoes. Like, I put on my Jordans. I put on my tightest pair of like basketball shorts that really accentuate my thighs. Fresh. Wore my
muscle tee.
No, not quite. I wore my t-shirt that makes me look the buffest. My hair looked fire. And I literally walked in there. I was like, I look awesome. Like, I don't know why. I just didn't feel. And I walk in there, and he was late. Yeah, he said 3:00, and he was late. And I'm like, pacing back and forth in the office.
About to high road him.
Felt like it. And he walks in. I was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And he's like, "Hey, what's up, Kashi? Like, how's your day?" And I'm like, "Oh, fuck."
Came with good energy.
Yeah, no, very good energy.
Okay.
I was upset. I wasn't gonna be like standoffish or like overly Gen Z, but I was prepared to like stand up for myself.
Okay.
And we're just chit chatting, and we're just chit chatting. It was President's Day, so I was just like, yeah. He's like, light day, and I was like, yeah, light day. Everyone canceled on me. He's like, yeah, President's Day, you know. Kind of. All right, here's what you did to me today. And he started this story, and I was like, what? What do you mean? He's like, here's what you did to me today. Today we had a safety conference.
Oh no!
With the leaders of the company
and the safety administration
and insurance, the company that covers us.
Yeah.
And so he didn't give me a quantity, but I imagine like 60-ish people. Like I just made up that number, but
that sounds.
It feels like with the insurance people,
bosses,
with all the
insurance,
exactly,
and then
And so my boss, the technical director, this guy, he's giving the presentation. He's the one that's like all up front at the pedestal, like at the podium, like
we make sure that our quality is upheld. And they caught you with a receipt.
Here's what he told me. So someone on cue, they're like, okay, well, what does a cell phone alert look like? And then he's like, well, like so. Oftentimes it's guys like looking down at their nails, or if they're checking their speedometer too frequently and their eyes are moving up and down, that'll pick up as like a cell phone alert. But typically they're not on their phones. And then beep beep beep, right on cue, there's little old me. And he goes, oh look, boom, perfect. This is one of our best guys. Clicks on it in front of everybody, in front of her, and there's me with my big ass Beats, like this headphones, like this.
You, bro? This you?
Yeah, big ass headphones, not just AirPods, over the head Beats headphones. Yep. So he said it looked like I was skipping a song. They looked at two. The one that popped up in front of everyone was me skipping a song. But like, still, I guess
it was enough to catch the radar.
And this was in front of everybody.
Oh shit!
And so he told me that story, and every shred of like pride and like every smugness out the window.
Yep.
I was so apologetic, and I was like, dude, I am so sorry.
You thought because like from our standpoint, it's like, hey, you got dinged on technicality.
Yeah,
it's like
kind of. That's how it felt.
Man, it's like, man, come on. Yeah. It's like you could have picked anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
I understand. I understand the rationale of like, oh, come on, man, are you just bored and you picking on me?
Exactly.
No, it's literally you caught him down with his pants. You caught him with his pants down in front of everyone, and I was anyone that mattered.
Exactly, everyone who mattered
in that call.
I was so embarrassed, and I was just like, dude, I'm so sorry. So the CEO of the company who adores me, that guy freaking loves me. He's said to me that I'm like the future of the company, like in a way.
Yeah.
And I was just so flattered by it. And he was the first one to be like, all right, well, that guy's fired. He wanted me fired like on the spot. Like he's like, call him. Like let him know. And the guy who was giving me this talk, he was the one who was like, no. Like
what?
He's licensed, he's certified, and he's very good. Like, he's the morale at the office.
We put a lot of money into him right now.
Yeah,
and he's kind of our
he like kind of said he's
just a little guy.
Exactly. He's like that's our morale guy.
He sprays for bugs. He's just a little guy.
And yeah, so the leader of the company was just like, all right, dude, like that's fine then. But yeah, so not only that, but the CEO is the nicest guy in the world. The nicest guy in the world. So the fact that he was like, yeah, so I think he's fired.
Probably just to appease the insurance company.
Yeah, no, that's what it was. But he was also pissed that I just embarrassed him in front of everybody. He didn't care at that point.
Yeah.
But so literally, I showed up looking fantastic, and to cherry on top. You ready? Cherry on top. Already so embarrassed, and he's just like, all right. So yeah, that's the reason why. He said basically he was like in 2017 they had like 40 incidents, and that's when they really cracked down on it.
Incidents of like
accidents, avoidable accidents. So not just accidents, because shit happens. Accidents happen.
Yeah.
But it was avoidable. Distracted driving.
Yeah.
Tailgating.
Yeah.
That's all avoidable.
Yeah.
And so he was like, we're already on track to beat 2017. Just with this year alone. And I was like, damn, that's crazy. So we were just chit-chatting, but at the end he was just like, yeah, so yeah, we're doing a safety briefing. It's going to be a safety briefing. The whole company is going to be there. Everyone's going to be there.
All hands.
And it's so important, Kashi. It's so important that we got to drill this into your head, okay? You understand? That's why you're going to give it. So I'm the one that's going to be at the podium like, hey, you guys, safety's really important.
So I got caught lacking in to put up a better term.
CEO, CFO, head of sale, every single the insurance, I'm pretty sure is going to be there. Yeah, the Vegas branch.
So you're making a keynote speech.
Exactly. So when he said that, I was just like, so throughout the whole time, I wasn't being a prick, but I also wasn't like being silent.
Yeah,
I was kind of chatty.
Yeah.
I was like my normal chatty.
Okay.
And I felt bad because this guy, he kept saying, and in all seriousness, And he like tilt his head and like smile real big, like,
hey, I'm helping you.
well, no, but he
Hint, hint,
thought,
hint.
he thought that I wasn't taking it seriously just because of my general demeanor.
Oh, okay.
So I literally had to, like, after he said that too, like, I think he could tell I got a little rattled. I'm just like, fuck. It's one thing. I'd give a great speech. I can give a good speech, but like the implication was that like,
You're in the hot seat.
yeah,
Literally
so-
the hot seat.
So, and he kept saying, in all seriousness, I know this is just your personality, but I need you to know that I'm serious right now. And I was like, dude, I know I'll take this seriously. Like, I'm sorry.
Kashi, please, this is my job.
That's how it felt. And so we were just chit chatting, and yeah, they caught 4K. I got caught, but so that was kind of funny. That was just a little.
Bueno.
That was just a little bit. Where I'm just like, and Tim literally called me, and I told him the whole thing because I wasn't nervous until I was sitting across from him.
Yeah.
Where he's like, yeah, dude, CEO wants you fired. And when he said that, I was like, dude, the CEO loves me.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. That, like, it kind of broke my heart a little bit where I was just like, damn, like, but that just goes to show how serious he was, you know? So a huge lesson learned.
Mm-hmm.
It also sucks though, because like now whenever I like want to skip a song or some shit like that, and I'm just like, I don't want to listen to this right now.
Hey Siri, skip.
yeah, I'm gonna have to turn that shit back on. Yours just popped on. That's fine.
Stop it. Don't do that.
And I went from Big Bass Beats headphones to the JBL Flip, like a speaker in my cup holder. So it's not as good, but I'm also just like, just a pain in the ass. But yeah, it was a very, very good. It was a lesson learned.
Yeah.
That's the best way to put it.
Yeah,
Lesson learned.
absolutely.
Oh man, but yeah, dude. That was good. Dude. I mean,
We hit it.
What are we at?
Yeah, 106.
Hell yeah. Anything else to add?
No, I mean, if my voice sounds a little bit like congested, it's because I am. I'm just coming off of.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
coming off of like altitude sickness,
Yeah.
and Marco's caught a little cold. He's
Yep.
a little phlegmy, but apologies for that. If you can definitely hear me,
Yeah.
clear in that. But thank you so much for tuning in to
Yeah.
this episode of the Hispanic on Paper podcast. Follow us on Instagram. Rate us on Spotify, Apple Music, or Apple Podcasts. Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, subscribe to us on YouTube. Like, comment, subscribe,
Yeah,
please.
don't forget to like, follow, and obey.
That's good. I love that.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I had.
Yeah, that's very we're gonna get caught up on episodes.
Yeah.
The shout out to Brian. His episode was a huge hit. Thank you guys for tuning into that.
Alton's always good company.
Yeah. I was thinking like whenever we do have like a twofer episode where it's just you and I'm like, damn, like I want to add a little bit more. Like we'll call Tim and then we'll call Alton. I think that'd be a good idea.
Just good stories too.
Yeah, just
fun
good
guy.
time. Yeah, we had very productive conversations too with him. Like, but yeah. So mind your necks. Don't break your neck because that's the central nervous system connecting your spine to your neck and your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's important.
Don't forget to wear helmets. Wear
helmets.
seatbelts.
Yep, I love it. And do not text and drive.
Do not
text and drive. All right, don't
do it
at all.
Stop.
Ever.
Put it down.
Yeah. So this has been episode 60 of the Hispanic on Paper podcast. Thank you guys so much.
My name is Marcos.
My name is Kashi.
Catch you later.
Take care.